This is the time when we discuss life. We discuss time. We bond together like the beads of a bracelet, pondering what is and what is not in the cosmic science of astrology, drowning ourselves into the depths of our inner being. And cutting through all boundaries which holds us within the limits of our karmas, burning our own ego to see what is beyond the smoky veil. Welcome to Astrophilosophy Hour.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Astrophilosophy Hour. This is the hour where we throw down everything on the ground. All the chips are on the floor and on the ground. We laid back, we relax, okay, with the best tools that we know how to get relaxed. At least I. And today's Philosophy Hour is on rat race. And we're going to talk about the dynamics of what in the world the rat race is. How do you define a rat race? What is it that it means to be in a rat race? So let's get the party started. First of all, let me just tell you right now, there is actually no rat race. There's no rat race in a way that you think. The only rat race that exists is a rat race with yourself. And this is not a philosophical statement, even though this is the Astrophilosophy Hour. What I'm trying to say is, it's no longer about competing with the neighbor. It's no longer competing with your friends, competing with your relatives. You know why? Because right now the race is just for survival. And I'm telling you this from my experience right now as I speak with the people around me. People couldn't care about rat race anymore. Why? Because first they have to learn to survive. People can barely survive now. This is due to the income inequality. This is due to government completely taking over who we are as people, our freedom, our individual. Like back in the 90s, even early 2000s, I could have said, well, hey, I live in a free country, United States of America. And today, by the way the laws are, I mean, if the government wanted to, they can take me, anybody out just like that. Just like that. Done. You know, they can take away your financial freedom. They can take away your freedom. So the rat race was more of a term used in 80s and 90s or even the 60s. You know, like it started out with a term like keeping up with the Joneses. You know, keeping up with your neighbor. Your neighbor got the yacht, you got to get the yacht. Neighbor got the new sports car, you got to get the new sports car. That was the actual rat race. Now, you know, I'm getting people, especially during my, career consultation, people who have been unemployed for 2 years, people who have been unemployed for 8 months, excellent degrees. And obviously, in the astrological perspective, we can see they're going through a certain time period, certain yoga might be active, and they're dealing with this financial thing. But the term rat race no longer applies anymore, as much as this is the age of technology, the age of advancement. Everything is on our fingertips. Within this room, I communicate with the entire world. I teach the entire world. I couldn't have said that 10 years ago, 15 years ago. That's how amazing things are. But the thing is, it's like you are putting whipped cream on dog shit. That's what technology is right now. You're putting whipped cream, tasty whipped cream on dog shit on a plate, and the environment around you serving that hey, there you go, eat. And you're looking at it like, wow, this is great, but underneath I'm starting to smell something. So like, I see a person working at McDonald's for $8 an hour have an iPhone. They have the exact same iPhone as I do. A person who might be cleaning toilets has the same cell phone as I do, may have the same, they're watching Netflix here and there, everything is there. But that's like whipped cream. Just because you got an iPhone doesn't mean you have made it. There's still that dog shit karma and the dog shit of environment that is right underneath. So you no longer, need to worry about rat race. And that's a scary part. Because if you're in a rat race, that means you're doing something good. You are competing and you're able to kind of push yourself forward to get what the other person is trying to get. Now it's more like a rat race to simply pay the next month's rent. And you got to understand this, especially for all the young people, who are thinking that, okay, I like no longer, let me tell you this right now, for all the young people who are trying to go from high school to a college. In the last literally 300 years, we have changed the dynamics of family culture, work culture, technology, transportation, healthcare. Everything has evolved. The only thing that has not evolved is the educational system. That's the only thing that has not evolved for the past 500-600 years. Education, if you look back of what you learned, was not just an education. It was simply indoctrination into a particular system of belief. Because when you think like, okay, I have to finish high school in order for me to go to a college, and after college is then when I have to get a job and make money. While the new system that some people are trying to push forward, like I know some of these even billionaires like Richard Branson, talks about some of these things. Why is it that we even need a high school? You should be able to specialize in your particular chosen passion and field from the beginning. The whole system dynamic of, okay, you have to take math, this, English, that, and the way they teach this is completely wrong. Why? Because if they taught math the right way, it wouldn't just cater to certain geniuses. It would cater to people like me, students like me, who for mathematics is an alien language. But guess what? For many people, astrology was an alien language. For many people, astrology is like Vedic astrology. Oh my God, I'll rather go see an astrologer than try to study that. When I made that decision that, I want to make Vedic astrology fun again. I want to make Vedic astrology cool again. Because I was kind of forced into learning. And first I felt the same way, that, okay, so I have to study the yogas and all these Sanskrit terms and the aspects, what is this? But once I kept forcing myself, because I just wanted answers for myself, because I was not going anywhere in my life, I forced myself, and once I learned it, I'm like, oh my God, this is so easy. But the way I was learning, where nobody was there to teach me the proper way, I'm like, this is the problem. This is not how you're supposed to be learning something. This is how you're supposed to learn something. I'm like, okay, I'm going to teach it the way that I feel it needs to be taught. And then what I figured out is that hundreds and millions of people wanted to learn the way I was teaching. Because I was just realizing that I just hit 60 million views on YouTube. 60 million eyes have seen, have learned, have loved what they're learning. Now people are actually, I'm telling you right now, more people are now willing to become astrologers than PhD philosophers or psychologists or psychiatrists. For them, astrology is now more of that answer. Why? Because the way I painted the picture, the way I painted something, you understood the message of that painting. And so same thing occurs with this rat race. The reason why rat race exists is this system is flawed. It is only meant for a certain group of rats to succeed, while others think that they can succeed, but they can't. And this is where one has to get out. One has to get out from that system of those rats. Let those rats be rats, who are actually the winner rats, right? 80-90% of all of us are thinking that we can be those rats, but there's like an invisible boundary there. In that particular section, in that particular building, there's an invisible boundary, and we're thinking, oh, we can make it, and they're laughing at you. But what you have to do is you have to leave that circle, go out to a different place where you can be that rat. Like, I actually mentioned it quite a few times. I love watching this show because my television is right here. I do my work here. I watch this show, Life Below Zero. It's about people in Alaska. These individual loners in Alaska, building everything from scratch. From the timber, from the trees that they have. They hunt, they go out and hunt. They get their food, they have a greenhouse to grow the vegetables. Their Mercedes-Benz and Toyota cars are sled dogs. But when I see them, they are free. They're free, they're happy, they're healthy, and these are some of the most spiritually evolved people. You should watch this show. You should watch this show. It's very relaxing and it's very therapeutic. So what these people did, they realized, when I see them talk about their version of life, they realize that there's something messed up happening in the world and I can be a part of it. These are probably very evolved souls just wanting to be on their own. So when you look at, life, like, okay, I want to become this, I want to become that, okay? I want to discover the cure for cancer. I want to discover the, cure for polio or autism or whatever. Certain few people realize that none of that means anything in this world. You finding the cure for cancer is not going to do any single progress for human race. It's not. Why? Because you're finding a solution for something which does not need solution, which never needed solution. It is the problem that you need to tackle. Don't tackle the cure for the problem. Take the problem out of the roots. Cancer only came in the last 100 and 150 years. And this is due to the fact certain people, when they get greedy, for them, they see nothing but money. They get blinded. It's not even their fault. When the money comes in, they get blinded. And now, remember, this is what I always question. When a pharmaceutical company becomes public, what does that mean? Have you ever thought about that? A pharmaceutical company being public. That means that particular company that is there for saving lives is now forced to show profits every quarter. And if the profits are not there, the stock goes down. If the stock goes down, they don't get the funding. If the funding is not there, they can't operate. And then what happens? The pharmaceutical company goes out of business. So now what do they have to do? What does a pharmaceutical company has to do in order to show profit? What does an oil company has to do to show profit? They got to sell more drugs. They've got to sell more pills. Well, now how do they do that? Well, okay, we will start, lobbying the politicians. Tell them that this drug is mandatory. You must get this drug, you must get this, you must get that. Then they can push all the doctors into prescribing this. When healthcare system goes into the Wall Street system, that is where you know the biggest problem is now. That's where you know things will go down evidently. When your health is being jeopardized by a stock price. So what do they do? Well, we can't have people be healthy. We can't have people be healthy because if they're healthy, nobody's going to buy our drugs. Nobody buys our drugs. We can't show profit. If we can't show profit, the stock will go down. If stock goes down, my share goes down. I can no longer buy my yacht, my private jet. So this is where you need to wake up, especially for students who say to themselves, well, I want to be a pharmaceutical professional. Don't think about yourself in that nature. Think about what type of a system are you becoming a part of? What type of a rat race are you becoming a part of? Because if you go try to work for a pharmaceutical company, that means you're going to hope for that this company stays in business for me to have my job and my salary. And what does that create? That creates this issue for the pharmaceutical company that, okay, I got to keep my employees employed. What do I do? Okay, well, then it comes back to the same cycle. Food. The rat race of food. Food companies are public. When food companies go public, what do they have to do? Well, if we can show enough vegetables being sold, well, we can make that profit. Vegetables are only grown by seasons. Well, let's find a solution to grow them out of the season. If they're grown out of the season, well, now you're talking not the same vegetable anymore. Now you're talking something mutated, which nature does not want you to deal with. If you go by the ways of the Tao, flow with the nature, eat what's in season, eat what nature gives you. Like, for example, me and my wife, we just made a decision. We're no longer going to buy meat from store. We're going to try to avoid that as much as possible. Okay? So now we found this website where we find hunted meat. Like the hunters who go out and hunt for the season when there's overpopulation of this, like wild game, wild boar, or elk, or let's say if there's caribou. They keep most of themselves, some they try to sell online. That's what I would get, because that is far more in cycle with nature than me getting something from this populated plant of 100,000 chickens, okay, or lambs, which are like treated badly. At least when the hunter hunts, the animal is right, it's in its more free environment, most natural environment. And from there it ends its life. Not by dragging it by its neck, tying it up, and then taking a knife and throwing it. No, it just ends. It leaves, it becomes free. Yes, of course, it's bad. Someone still will say that is bad to eat that, yes. But if I give you these two options for the world, which option would you pick? To go out naturally hunt for something, or to go and get something from that package store? I know exactly which one you're going to choose. So, for all the inspiring new people who are worried about rat race, one thing is, you need to worry about your survival. You need to worry about your ability to pay bills and eat food before you even think about the rat race. Second, think about the impact you are going to have with the rat race. Think about you striving, think again, you striving to become a pharmacist, you striving to become a medical doctor, and especially like I'm talking about the mainstream pharmacist and a medical doctor. What is it that you are activating in that cycle? We're all becoming a part of the cycle. This is why I have to show that I, teach what I preach. I have to make sure that I'm not becoming part of that system where when I buy that chicken, it's going to encourage that chicken producing company to say, okay, we just sold one chicken. That means we need one more chicken to fill that. So that means we need to take a life brutally of this one chicken. So I don't want to do that. And of course, it's so unavoidable living in this place unless we go out in the wilderness, hunt by ourselves. But at least I'm trying to make that change, that I no longer want to eat this thing. If they are hunted, I'll eat it. And so this website, if they ever allow me to say their name, I'll market them. I love them. But this website will only have products when they can hunt and when the things are in season. Like they will not hunt, any mothers or females. They will only hunt certain specific type of caribous or elk or wild boar. And if I can get that, and it's expensive, so I like that it's expensive because I only then get very little. So that means I'm now more relying on vegetables around me than to eat this. So when you do all of these things, whether you're in IT, whether in something, think about the system that you're becoming a part of. How is it that recycling back? Because I honestly believe the food companies, pharmaceutical companies, and anything to do with medicine cannot be on a public domain because now they're forced. So it's not even the fault of the pharmaceutical company. They're forced to show profit. The CEO's responsibility is to show profit, more and more profit. That is all it is in the world. It's not just United States, it's everywhere. There are pharmaceutical companies in India, Europe, Canada, everywhere, and they're all pushing for that same thing, more money. So please be thoughtful about the cycle that you become part of, and to understand that do not be part of the rat race. First of all, you need to be about surviving right now, the way the world is. Second, you gotta be your own rat. Create your own race. Don't be part of a race. Go create your own race. Create the rat race in Ayurveda. Natural healing. You should be the elite of the natural healing domain. You should be, because you will feel far better. Like I tell you, when I eat vegetable, like veggie food, like yesterday I had potatoes and peas, the Indian dish. I had palak paneer with a naan. I ate that, I felt good. I'm like, okay, wow, my body says, yes, this is good. I absolutely never feel great when I eat non-veg food. It's just that it's a addiction. That's all it is. It's addiction. It's worse addiction than drinking or smoking. This I'm having literally after 4 or 5 days. I had one at a restaurant. I couldn't even finish it. For me, it's not even, I don't know why. I'm just not into it. I'm just doing this for this video to get into the mood. So anyway, guys, this was my probably a long talk on rat race and what it's doing. Just remember, you've got to go at your own pace. Start walking, don't run. If there's a rat race, just enjoy the flower, enjoy the sky, enjoy everything. Remember, life is a joke. That's what the yogi says. Life is a joke. Don't take it seriously. Don't be butting your head because you failed at your civil service exam. Don't be butting your head because you didn't get that promotion. You didn't get that girl. You didn't get the money. Your main job is to evolve. That's what you should, that's the only thing you should worry about, is how do I evolve as a human being? And that process of evolving is actually fun. So you can be stressed. You won't be part of the rat race once you say, I want to evolve. Nobody wants to evolve. Everybody just wants to consume. So start making those changes and just know that your only purpose is to go to your real parent, which is God, universe, this eternal energy that has been here for gazillion, trillion, gazillion, trillion years. That's your real parent. That's your real lover. Try to think about that, because that energy of this universe longs for you more than you longs for it. We call it God. So don't be all feeling bad, oh, I didn't pass my exam and I didn't get this job. Be free from that. You'll see how good you feel. Life is a joke. Every time something happens to you, say, man, life is a joke anyway. It's just a virtual reality. My only job is to just evolve myself spiritually, and the process of that is actually it's actually fun. Process of evolving, it's actually fun. It cannot be detrimental, it cannot be stressful. That means you're going towards the wrong type of a process for evolving then. Okay? So anyway, if you're new to my channel, subscribe below, because I talk about Vedic astrology and all the good stuff like astrophilosophy. And if you need a consultation, my report, go on my website, astrology.krs.com. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.